First things first. If you're familiar with this introduction, feel free to skip ahead until the trigger warning for our racist, hate-filled image of the day appears on screen. Otherwise, let me tell you. In each of these videos, I give away a t-shirt from my website, UnionOfTruth.org. That t-shirt goes to whichever comment in the comment section scores the highest on my double-secret proprietary rating scale, and they'll get to pick whichever design they want from the website. Mind you, I give away a t-shirt if the video gets at least 5,000 views and 50 unique comments by the time I start making my next video. I intend to make these videos 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Official rules are posted just below the like and subscribe buttons. Now, unless you're already fully aware of the following 9 facts, or you have a completely open mind and seek to expand your worldview, these videos might not be for you. Fact number 1. All of our society's root-level structural institutions are controlled by psychopathic parasites who intend to utterly subjugate us. And that's putting it mildly. Fact number 2. No one is coming to save us from them. If we don't take matters into our own hands, we will be utterly subjugated. Fact number 3. We are quickly running out of time to prevent such an outcome. Fact number 4. In order to prevent our subjugation, we need a viable plan of action. Fact number 5. There is no quick fix. A viable plan will need to be very detailed and will require that people must go outside of their comfort zone in order to comprehend it. Fact number 6. As an aspect of its viability, the plan must not require that everyone fully comprehends it in order to follow it. Fact number 7. Since the plan must not require that everyone fully comprehends it in order to follow it, leaders will be needed to properly inform and correctly guide fellow citizens who won't put forth the effort to fully comprehend the plan. Fact number 8. Leaders will need to fully comprehend the plan. Fact number 9. Exemplary leaders are committed to empowering those whom they lead. Exemplary leaders lead by example. And for those of you who are still with me, here's a 10th fact. This book contains a viable plan. The purpose of these videos is to disseminate the information provided in this book and to start an ongoing dialogue about all things related to the plan. You can download a free copy of this book in PDF format from UnionOfTruth.org without signing up for anything or filling anything out. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping you'll take me up on my simple 10-page challenge. It works like this. Read the first 10 pages of the book and fully investigate all of the links that are offered in order to discover the following. 1. Am I functioning from a valid conceptual foundation? 2. Have I done enough legitimate research to qualify as someone whose opinion is worthy of consideration? 3. Does the book actually provide a viable and fully detailed plan to thwart the science of fiction? Quite simple, and certainly not too much to ask of any red-blooded American patriot. One last thing. Those of you who are wondering, who is this guy? Should be sure to check out my video entitled, Who is this guy? Please, let us know exactly what you found most hateful and oppressive about that beastly image. Your feedback is vital to our ongoing mission of greater understanding. All right, in this episode, we're going to go over pages 110 through 115. But first, you know it's coming. As mentioned on pages 34 and 35, the author's purposely condescending tone is not directed at you. It's directed at those who will mock you when you try to share this information with them. But there must not be any celebrity meet and greet going on at the rally, unless they wish to fully join in with the actual rugged, freedom-loving patriots who volunteer. Those plaster saints can get stroked elsewhere. This rally is not a photo op. Just imagine the level of public interest that a star's full participation would spark. Good luck. If the lack of your beloved stage and screen star's widespread involvement does not prove to you that an absolute disrespect exists within them for those whose stupidity supports their lavish lifestyle, then nothing short of the outright physical enslavement that's coming to all of you will ever wake you or them from your lives of delusion. I mean, this is not an invitation to a low-end keg party. No, it is quite the opposite. And their disinterest will be undeniable proof that they too are unaware of the fact that they are nothing but disposable, hired hands being employed in the Colosseum to keep you gorging on the sex, slaughter, slander, and sport that aids in the diversion of your awareness from the actuality of your enfeebled existence. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they really are a bunch of fine patriots who, although they certainly aren't going to get down in the trenches with the common folk during the rally, will actually help finance it by presenting an omnibus type of continuous nationwide tour. Music, stand-up comedy, theatrical sketches, readings of pertinent historical speeches, etc. It can begin previous to the culmination of the rally in Washington, D.C., and run daily for over a year, while featuring different entertainers in different cities in order to accommodate their schedules. The full proceeds can then be loaned to fellow patriots who wish to do their part to ensure the rally's success, but are lacking the funds required to fully participate as outlined later on. Such actions certainly would not diminish any of their star power. Really, what would those fine patriots have to lose by undertaking such an endeavor? They'll all get paid for their work. Such money would be contractually loaned out, and their patriotic performances would be protected by the First Amendment, right? Golly, those fine patriotic entertainers sure would raise a whole lot of dough if they were to do something like that. They would also be able to raise a whole lot of consciousness, too. Not to mention the fact that the first major star who officially announces their plans to act as such will be immortalized with Paul Revere-like status. Good luck. And speaking of sport, will the lack of your beloved professional athletes' widespread involvement prove to you that the highly promoted show of respect they gave to the memory of a fellow professional named Pat Tillman was really just a circus routine? If not, then nothing short of the outright physical enslavement that's coming will ever wake you or them from your lives of delusion. In case you aren't aware of it, Pat Tillman was an actual rugged, freedom-loving patriot who put his life and considerable fortune on the line for what he thought was a noble cause. He turned down a multi-million-dollar renewal of his NFL contract in order to join the military in 2002 and go overseas to try to do his part in securing the safety and freedom of his fellow countrymen. Did I mention that he was happily married? Is that not the height of putting your money where your mouth is? But he ended up getting murdered because of his plans to report on all of the wrongdoing he was personally witnessing. And the details of his murder were then covered up at very high levels of government. Why not Google him and look into it? Since Pat Tillman attempted to do much more for the cause of freedom than wear a t-shirt with a trending tagline, or tweet a socially conscious message, or sport a patriotic tattoo and complain about some players on the other side of the field not putting their hand over their heart during a performance of the overhyped diversionary jingle that you all robotically get out of your seats to show a passionate false reverence to. Isn't it completely reasonable to believe that the genuine, meaningful show of respect for the memory of Pat Tillman and the many other victims of corrupt government operatives and institutions by those athletes would be nothing less than making the comparably insignificant personal sacrifices needed in order to participate fully in what will bring about that which every soldier and civil rights activist who has ever died in the name of freedom believed they were fighting for? That makes sense, no? Good luck. Don't those articles just highlight what a lost flock you really are? You sessile stooges must finally learn that you do not need help or permission to do this from any of the current representatives in our varied line of the false incarnations of power, beauty, intellect, talent, or virtue that we created long ago and still use with precision to convince you that you are incapable of worthwhile success without first being molded into some commercially available likeness of their well-crafted image and then receiving their blessings and assistance. Yes, it's true. We actually cause you to believe that a properly functioning human existence is one which, unbeknownst to you, happens to be equivalent to that of an opiate addict whose only method of survival is to be employed by us so that you can seemingly afford to continually pay us huge fees in order to exist within the all-encompassing den we have constructed for the purpose of doing great harm to you. Indeed, U.S.A. actually stands for United State of Acquiescence. Can you not be made aware of the fact that all of the insights I am sharing with you are valid testimony? Are you thoroughly lost within the labyrinth of the elaborate scam being run on you? I'm betting big that you are. Perhaps Ben Franklin was onto something when, as legend has it, in response to a question regarding the type of government that would be implemented in the United States of America, he replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." Or has the time come that the entire world will witness the massive, properly organized, peaceful, lawful act of the alteration of oppressive government? The Declaration of Independence declares it to be your unalienable right and duty. Currently, you do not have any idea of what an effect on your own consciousness and the consciousness of your fellow citizens and the rest of the world that an enormous and conceptually sound, long-term act of solidarity, as I'm about to detail, would have. How could you? There's never been an attempt or a suggestion to accomplish anything even remotely similar, not even in a work of fiction. Yet, rationally speaking, does that mean it can't happen? Ponder the following line as you picture but a fraction of the discoveries, inventions, and events that have shattered popular notions of the limits of possibility. Winners' situations are created by viewpoint. Losers' viewpoints are created by situation. I assure you that if you actually make this rally happen, as per my forthcoming scrupulous directions, there will be a nationwide abundance of honest, capable candidates who would each gladly guarantee in writing their votes to bring forth the reform that is this rally's purpose. Like I said, this rally is not about asking those in power to make concessions. It's about telling them, and the rest of the world, that you've come to collect your rightful inheritance. I do hate to put you on the spot, but are you going to wait for someone else to light the fuse? Will you do anything more than buy a rally-related, sweatshop-produced knockoff hat or t-shirt and lie to everyone that you support the cause? I'm betting that, at best, you would check out what's happening at the event during the commercial breaks of the instantly gratifying diversions that you'll still be immersed in. Fact, if you do not prove me wrong, you are proving me right. So where are all of the rugged, freedom-loving patriots who are each willing to go outside of their comfort zone and earn $250,000 plus, tax-free, in this desperate time of need? 4. Since very few of you can act systematically without guidance, let me explain in detail how this event is going to have to be organized and carried out in order to ensure unity, efficiency, and success. These instructions can easily be followed by a 14-year-old child, but in order to understand the remaining contents of this book, you will be forced to expand your current conceptual limit. Are you ready to do the extremely lucrative work that's required in order to discover and master the techniques that enable proper self-determination? Starting within each school district in each state, volunteers will have to begin forming two groups, home and away, that will each be comprised of 2,000 divisions. There will be 50 volunteers in each away division and at least that amount of volunteers in each home division. In other words, each state will have a total of at least 200,000 volunteers. 50 volunteers times 2,000 divisions equals 100,000. 100,000 times 2 groups equals 200,000 volunteers per state. Each school district should be represented by as many people as possible, so that within each division, as many people as possible already know one another. This will be a measure of insurance against infiltration by governmental agent provocateurs. Each volunteer will need to commit themselves to a minimum 16-month tour of duty. Yes, that's approximately 1.5 years. Yes, that's $250,000 plus, tax-free. Too long for you? Tell it to the soldiers who have spent more time than that recovering from the wounds they suffered during tours of duty in hostile lands in the name of your country. Prove to them how much you appreciate their having you back. Tell it to your children and grandchildren whose outright slavery is the actual price for your current way of life. The home group will be comprised of both male and female volunteers who are at least 14 years old or entering the 9th grade at the start of the upcoming school year. Such volunteers will be working strictly on the local and state level. They will, in fact, be the nervous system of the rally. The home group will be responsible for the following. 1. Spreading the word about the rally's purpose and goals from person to person on the most local levels and through constant, well-planned efforts to have such information accurately announced daily through all forms of established news media. 2. Coordinating the efforts of each of its divisions and constantly sharing information regarding every successful technique that is employed. 3. Building, maintaining, and constantly updating the official website and social media accounts for the rally, and constantly increasing the amount of quality traffic they all receive. 4. Coordinating qualified personnel to conduct the many tasks that will be required in order for there to be a successful, engaging, continual broadcast of all aspects of the rally. 5. Coordinating all of the many deliveries of goods that will be needed by the away group. 6. High-level managerial interactions with the companies that will be making those deliveries. The need for such interaction will be explained in further detail later in this book. Needless to say, a great deal of the success for both the away group and all essential operations will be dependent upon the well-planned, ongoing efforts of the home group. The away group will be comprised strictly of males who are at least 18 years old and without any mental or physical handicap that would prevent them from being able to complete any of the tasks that are outlined in the following paragraphs. They will each be required to leave home for a minimum of 16 months for training and deployment. Such volunteers must all be male because of 1. The otherwise unavoidable physical attraction and intimacy which will occur and severely distract the volunteers if males and females are intermingled in this aspect of the operation. Two, the fact that even a single unconfirmed case of sexual misconduct being reported on in the news would instantaneously cast the entire nationwide effort in a negative light. 3, the fact that, under the circumstances that will be present, the many special allowances that would be required to accommodate both sexes' hygienic needs, their privacy, and their safety would be unreasonable when compared to any arguable advantage that a female presence might provide in terms of the success of the operation. Rational minds will not view this as a humiliating discourtesy. No one whose opinion is worth listening to doubts the female ability to stand toe-to-toe with the men here. Those of you who are inclined to challenge these directions must not allow yourselves to act out upon misinformed emotions. In the name of reason, carefully consider how your efforts can be most helpful in eliminating the traitorous parasites that are working to bankrupt you in every possible way under the flag-waving guise of legitimate governance. Carefully consider the fact that you are, in effect, trapped within a structure that is engulfed in flames. Under such circumstances, it is not in your best interest to do anything other than attempt to leave the premises in the quickest, most orderly fashion possible. In consideration of both the scenario I just illustrated and the literal object of this rally effort, can it be deemed wise to also make this an attempt at a superfluous, long-term, large-scale group mastery over what is arguably our most powerful biological impulse? Does a lack of mutual interest necessarily extinguish the literally intoxicating sexual desires one might have? Understand that this is not a military operation where constant disciplinarian supervision and the imminent threat of danger are often sufficient means to prevent the occurrence of actions that would be detrimental to a stated end. Is it possible that the away group could achieve its stated end, which you haven't even read yet, with the inclusion of females? Of course it is. But does a reasonable human being add any level of complexity and difficulty to an already difficult, utterly important task? If everyone shares their unique talents and full efforts in accordance with these directions, the wholesome object of this rally effort will be achieved. Make no mistake, this is sound advice. Well, that's it for today. Let's meet back here tomorrow. Till then, take good care of yourself and remember, objectivity, logic, fidelity, because absurdity knows no bounds.